Well, Dr. Dogo joins us now on the National Conference debate. He's a political scientist as well as a member of the PDP. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, he's been going on, and I think they're having a session today in Ondo State. They'll be meeting with some of the citizens of that particular state. You know, a whole lot of comments. First, we started by asking Mr. Akiri what his thoughts were on the president saying that this will definitely go back to the National Assembly. Perhaps maybe that's a point for us to start with you.
The president is absolutely right. Many of us have forgotten that sovereignty we are talking about has already been consigned to the National Assembly. And it will be an exercise in futility if we do not carry the National Assembly together, along in whatever we are doing right now. Forget of the semantics, forget of the words people play with. You know, whatever their perceptions of things, and I've heard so many about that, isn't it? Once you have elected a National Assembly, constitutionally, that sovereignty is there. When you say, look, sovereignty belongs to the people, the question you will have to ask, and myself as a political scientist, is that it's the people that elected members of the National Assembly. So that sovereignty has already been given to the National Assembly.
Perhaps the first question we should ask is, what is the essence of this national dialogue we're about to have? Maybe that will put things in perspective for us. To your mind, what is the essence of the national dialogue?
Well, in my mind, the essence of the national dialogue is to discuss all those things people have been thinking, talking, and discussing, and saying that, look, are wrong with Nigeria. Look, every ethnic nationality, we can come up with all our ideas, our desires, our aspirations. If in the process it can lead to us having an alternative type of government, so be it. If in the process, which I hope, and I hope very sincerely too, and I pray that it will result in something like that, that will come up with a completely new constitution that will remove the so-called craze for power simply because people are in the habit or wanting to get involved in what you will say, with due respect to our friend, you know, primitive accumulation of wealth, that we will have people that will go into governance because of service, that will be making sacrifices. So be it.
Because we have heard members of the National Assembly say that if the essence of this is to have a brand new constitution, the National Assembly does not have the powers to give this country a brand new constitution.
That is in theory. You see it. What you are saying, there are theoretical perceptions and there are realities. When you say you can only amend, you can only design. If you decide to amend almost everything, wouldn't that become a new one? So there are theoretical concepts, and political science will look at the practicality of things. And when somebody says, look, the power, the sovereignty belongs to us, where do you put the National Assembly? Don't even talk about them. Don't even go to them. Don't even say this. I find it difficult to understand if those people have the slightest idea of what the Constitution says. If you have the slightest idea of what we are actually practicing. We are simply saying that the National Assembly is irrelevant. Every aspect of governance is irrelevant, which is not the case.
Dr. Dogo, isn't that why we're talking? Because people have said that, well, it's not enough. So, they think that, well, governments over time, don't forget we're not talking about this present administration, they're saying government, with no exception, since independence, hasn't actually done what the people expected of them. That is why we are asking for this particular talk.
And exactly, I'm agreeing with you. But in the talks, can you remove any section like the National Assembly, because it's in the talk that the Constitution came up, it's in the talk that people have voted for those people in the National Assembly, and now you say they are irrelevant, and you can't say anything. The National Assembly can technically stop this very conference from taking place.
Agreed.
At any moment. You know that, isn't it? But so anybody who is thinking that the National Assembly is irrelevant and should not be carried along or should not be discussed or should not be put is simply, I don't know where they get their ideas.
If you were saying something earlier about the Constitution that's going to stop people from getting unnecessarily wealthy, now, if you're going to do that, would you include the same people who are unnecessarily wealthy in the process of getting that constitution?
That is what I'm saying. Yes, you can include the same people. We are saying that, look, you want to carry everybody along, isn't it? And what I'm saying is that, look, if in the process we will come up with a constitution or even possibly an alternative system of governance, do you see it? So be it. And if in the process we can come up with modalities that will remove people from the whole craze of being in governance is for primitive accumulation of wealth or whatever it is, so be it. If in the process we'll come up with a system whereby anybody that is aspiring to be in governance is there for sacrifice, so be it. And these are all issues we are going to discuss. We are saying that every ethnic nationality, you come up with your ideas, you come up. It is not an issue of saying that, look, it is something you want to distance yourself from whatever exists.
As a political scientist, you know about democracy.
Yes.
It's a government of the people, by the people, for the people.
Exactly.
Now,
which is what it is now.
Which is what it is. We're in a democratic period.
Exactly.
Now, the people are saying they want to have a discussion.
Well, I know that is also debatable. we have to clear that whole move.
Okay, the people want a discussion away from the political class, whom they believe have not been serving them as they should. And you're still saying the political class has to be involved.
Let me correct you.
Is that what you're saying?
For the fact that you said you want to have a discussion, you are already a political class. If you are not in the political class, you wouldn't even be asking for a discussion.
Okay.
So to say that you are doing it in separate from the
Sulaiman
political
and I
class,
having a discussion.
Eh?
Sulaiman and I having a discussion where political.
The very
class.
what you are doing is a political discussion because this is the process, and in fact, is one of the most important processes of political discussion. What we are making the whole world to see and to know, to understand, is the highest level of political discussion we are having. You see, and so the media houses even have a greater role in this political discussion. And so nobody who wants to discuss something and will say, I'm apolitical. No, if you are not, if you are, you wouldn't even talk about it.
You know why?
But because you are part and parcel of it, that is why you are talking. So everybody is politically involved.
You know, Dr. Dogo, you know why this is very important? Well, I'm happy you're a politician and also a political scientist. We all know the risk inherent in all of this when the people demand for their sovereignty. The people give their sovereignty out to be protected and used wisely for everyone.
Exactly.
So isn't that why it is so important that we listen to what the people are saying? Because if they don't get a listening ears from those in authority, they just might be demanding for their sovereignty. And you know what that means?
Absolutely, and that is exactly why the president in his wisdom has said, let us go into this national dialogue. The only word which people are playing with is sovereign. We don't need to use the word sovereign there. Because when you use the word sovereign, it connotes a different thing entirely.
You know, for the first time, the people agreed. Sorry to butt in there. For the first time, the people agreed and said, okay, well, let's not even call it anything. Let's call it a talk. But this issue of sovereignty is coming again because of the last comment from the president during the Salah holiday, saying that, well, the outcome would definitely go back to the assembly.
Which is right. And that is what I've just told you. Because at present, the sovereignty of all the Nigerian people resides with the National Assembly.